Well, hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back to the channel for possibly some bittersweet news for City Skylines 2. This was absolutely not on my 2025 bingo card at all, and I couldn't believe the news when I read it earlier within the last 24 hours. News dropping about Colossal Order, developers of City Skylines 2, and a bunch of other games, calling it quits. Their ties with Paradox coming to an end at the end of 2025, early 2026. They're going on to make something new. The studio's not dying, but they're moving on to make something else, as things with City Skylines 2 haven't been going so well. And a Paradox-owned studio by the name of Iceflake is taking over. Iceflake Studios is a studio that made a game you may have seen before on the channel by the name of Surviving the Aftermath, a post-apocalyptic city builder, and then they've also made a bunch of other mobile games. Now they're hiring like crazy, but this seems to be their most recent game, and I'm wondering what they have been doing in the meantime and what Paradox has had them up to. It's kind of weird, but this will give Paradox a little bit more control over the creation of City Skylines 2, and hopefully that means they are listening loud and clear to what the community wants. Now the good news is there's already some updates in the hopper already for the end of 2025. The bike update is just a few days away. Bikes are finally coming to City Skylines 2, as well as some things to be added a little bit later, some creator packs that will be coming in, as well as another new radio station, and then after that a asset mod update or pack or a system will be coming to it, which apparently might have a lot of bugs and might not even be complete and might not even be worth getting excited about, and is something that the new developer will have to take over and possibly work on and mix up in the next year and get feedback on. So we'll see exactly how that all plays out in the future. But I gotta say, it's a little bittersweet for this game. I think really City Skylines 2 is the only modern city builder I can think of at the moment that's on this scale, and I remember looking recently because I was curious about other games that Paradox was publishing, including EU4 and 5 and Victoria and other things like that, that I had no idea that City Skylines, the original game, was by far their biggest seller, their biggest moneymaker with millions and millions of dollars, and City Skylines 2 trailing by a little bit, but still a heavy hitter for them. And so this is a very important game for them to be able to get right, and a very important franchise for them to continue to get right too. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Paradox is the one to own the rights to City Skylines, so they could continue to change out developers in the future, but it is good, I think, that at least there's a continuation of this game and that they're not abandoning fans. And also I think it's really big of them to continue to support the game that a lot of people prefer, City Skylines 1, because of its over decade now existence with tons of DLCs and tons of mods. But they're very resistant to doing what everybody wants for the Steam store page and having everything go through that Paradox system, which I already identified as being a red flag. And in fact, other developers such as Frontier doing some things that I find to be shady as well, with the Planet Coaster 2 game called, quote, multiplayer, when you can share a file back and forth with friends. With that said, it's almost as if you could say City Skylines and City Skylines 2 are multiplayer then, because you could send a file back and forth between two people and have them load it and then work on a city, which is not necessarily the case. I mean, any game could be multiplayer then, including solitaire, if you had a bunch of people in the room using the mouse. But I digress. I think City Skylines 2, though, is a game I really want to succeed. And honestly, the earlier games that Colossal Order made, which were Cities in Motion and Cities in Motion 2, weren't really received that well, but I remember them as being amazing games. In fact, I bring this up often, that some of the assets from Cities in Motion of landmarks in Germany and other parts of the world were basically recycled and brought into Cities in Motion, from Cities in Motion to City Skylines, which I actually thought was kind of cool, that some of the locations from those previous games were then brought into City Skylines, and I think even some of them are present in City Skylines 2, but yet more modernized for that. Now, I gotta say, the biggest thing I want to, my big message here for everybody is as we have already, continue on being patient for this game. I'm really hoping that with this big switch up at the end of this year and beginning next year will really shine new light on them taking a lot of feedback and prioritizing things that players want. And this could be a really good opportunity now to finally get what we want from City Skylines 2. Now, I think the DLC that dropped recently was a good step forward in terms of adding new content, but with so many people being so upset at the game and really dissatisfied with a lot of the things from the launch, they're going to have to pile in a lot of free stuff, I think, to continuously buy goodwill on this game being a game that at least can be somewhat close to City Skylines 1. I never expected City Skylines 2 to surpass City Skylines 1 with its reputation already, and the same goes for other games like Frostpunk 2 and Frostpunk 1. It is very, very difficult. It's near impossible for a developer to surpass the original banger with a follow-up. It does happen, but it's very rare, and it's a difficult thing to do when you have such a great original game. And so all you can do is hope that your sequel comes close and then eventually surpasses it with multiple updates and DLCs over the years. Another example that comes to my mind, although different, is Kingdom Come Deliverance, where that original game was solid. All the DLCs were outstanding too, and I think the second game came very close to being just as good as all of the main game and its DLCs, and then surpassing it with additional content updates and then DLCs as well. And that's the way it should be. You want 1 to be very good, 2 to almost feel like a 1.75 version, and then after a few updates, refinements, and feedback from the community, especially in a game where you're being creative like this, for it to be even better than the original, more optimized. And speaking of which, I hope that also means that we'll be seeing a console version for this game in 2026 as well. Now, it's been held up for a few years. In fact, boy, going back to 2024, that City Skylines 2 has been known about and then released, and then really just within a month, people just kind of finding out that it's not their cup of tea just yet, but yet many people holding on to it. Now, I've got to say, after all of these updates and DLCs, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I do like playing the game quite a bit, and I want it to be a better game than City Skylines 1. And I know that's going to be a very long road, but I also believe that that is the road that is going to be worth paving for the ROI, for the shareholders, and other, corporate buzzwords. In other words, if you guys want a better City Skylines 1, I don't think we're going to get it, but we are going to get a better City Skylines 2 if we continue to push for it, and that basically means that all of their attention is on this new sequel to their franchise. And that also means that, City Skylines is now a franchise that eventually they'll want to move on to 3, but how long will that be? I believe we're going to face a situation where it'll almost be like The Sims 4, where, EA doesn't want to make a Sims 5, they're too big of cowards, and they want to continuously go back and make stuff for 4. And then there was a rumor as well where apparently they're going to be making a remaster for Sims 4. That's wild. That's absolutely wild to remake a game that you're already kind of supporting. Could you imagine if we got a City Skylines 2 remastered? That'd be insane. Or if we got a SimCity 2013 remastered, I have no idea, but it could be possible from EA. It really could, especially at this point in time. But I want these games to be really good, and I want everybody to be open, honest, and fair about their feedback for Colossal, and their time here will be coming to an end, but Paradox then going forward, especially down below. I've asked a few times what everybody personally doesn't like about the game, or really, more importantly, what they should add to the game to make it better. There are certainly things about City Skylines 1 we all find annoying, and that's why there are mods to bypass or improve some of the things we don't like to do or that we find tedious with the original game. But I also feel like there's a lot of things from 1 that are way behind on 2, like just the simple system of making it so that way there can be no zoning on one side of the road or the other. I feel like a lot of things that were added to City Skylines 1 later were great improvements that were like no-brainers, but could easily simply be a mod for City Skylines 2, and yet modding is kind of a more difficult thing to do. It's certainly easy to be able to download a lot of maps and find those things, but also it's very difficult for creators to create things for City Skylines 2 and release those. I think they really shot themselves in both feet on that one, so pretty crazy. But it's been a long day for me, and I've been trying to get together my thoughts and reading their tweets. Of course, there's been posts on Steam about this from the City Skylines 2 official Steam store page, as well as all their social media. So there's a lot of news about this one. They're making kind of a clean break from each other. There's not like hard feelings or anything. Colossal saying that's kind of a mutual decision and that they're going to go on and make something new. However, I haven't seen anything from Colossal in a long time that they'd be discussing on making, but I do hope that they make another Cities in Motion game, perhaps to go as a competing or competitor franchise to the very wonderful and fantastic Transport Fever. Transport Fever 3 is coming out soon, and though that's a little bit more of a logistics game. I still see it as a possible city builder in the future. That is a franchise where they could call it, City Fever or something like that. Probably a horrible name, but it is quite possible that the Transport Fever engine and genre could become very easily a city builder to compete with City Skylines, which would be amazing. And then maybe also, maybe it could be something along the lines of Colossal making a sequel to Cities in Motion to compete directly with any sort of transport games, which we always need more of. We don't have enough multiplayer transport games, and we don't have enough multiplayer city builder games, and I'd like to see more of that. Luckily, Anno, yes, I say it, 11.7, not 1.17, but 11.7 has multiplayer, and apparently that's also a little janky too. And from Ubisoft there, who's already made the banger of 1800, Anno 1800, a great multiplayer game, very fun. You want to see these companies nail it, and then you're so surprised when they nailed it before, how they couldn't do it again, and how that was not the standard. Like when you absolutely make a huge step forward in something that breaks the barrier, when a sequel comes out, people are shocked when it doesn't just have that by default. And I'm starting to understand that a little bit more from all of you too. I honestly have a little bit more of a brighter vision towards games. I always try to look at things on the bright side of what could be possible and needs to be done, but then also it seems a lot of the times that publishers and corporate greed are the things that prevent them from doing that. Rather than incompetence, it's more just like sinister greed and just trying to reach exponential profits than it is developers being incompetent or just lazy, although that laziness now is kind of more AI to cut corners to then, again, have a bigger ROI. But all that corporate jargon aside, I do have a beautiful new, I guess, open field with a rainbow in it, like site at City Skylines 2. Like, I'm really hoping that they have a beautiful, bright future for that game. I hope the best for Colossal Order. I hope the best for Paradox to continue to make all these wonderful map games like Hearts of Iron and City Skylines and stuff like that too. And I really hope that we get a ton of great games in the future from all these folks who are involved, including Ice Flake, which is like kind of weird but cool. They are in Finland, and that's where the Colossal Order studio was. I think they're actually in the same city from what I was reading. And when I looked them up, I was like, oh yeah, I played this game before, Surviving the Aftermath. That was the first thing that came up, and I thought that game was quite cool. And unfortunately, there are other competitors for Surviving the Aftermath. The studios behind the game by the name of Endzone has gone belly up, and they're no longer making the Endzone franchise, which is sad. I think we need more post-apocalyptic city builders, but we get good ones, but they're never great or groundbreaking. But City Skylines certainly was, and it topped the charts of everything that Paradox has ever done. And so now I hope that money that they've made from it now also equals the amount of change and time and money and listening that they're willing to put in. And it is good to see the creator community being very vocal and allowing you all to be vocal and to piggyback on things that says, we want you to do your best. We're here for you. Let us know what you need. Here's what we think you should do. Please do the right thing. And we can only lead a horse to water, but we can't make him make a banger. We really can't. But hopefully that leads to a good game. I don't know. I'm certainly optimistic. The next year I think is going to be slow again. I can't believe we have to wait even longer than that, but I don't know. Do you think we'll get a good City Skylines 2 before we get Grand Theft Auto 6? I mean, we have until November of next year, so I guess we'll see. All right, let me know your detailed thoughts and opinions down below. I just kind of wanted to yap and share a little bit about what I was thinking and feeling for City Skylines 2 and just roll some B-roll, because there's been a lot of news recently about a ton of games and a ton of studios and a ton of publishers getting acquired and bought out and sold off, and it makes me a little nervous, but maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. It could be a horrible thing too, and I think a little bit like it's going to be, I don't know, we're going to lose a lot of good stuff, I think, but hopefully some of the stuff that's great gets even better, and some of the stuff that wasn't so good, maybe we won't miss so much. I don't know. A little heartbroken on that, but oh well. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for subbing to the channel. Thanks for leaving a like. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with me, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.